All right, Marcy, what is your favorite IRA conversion strategy?
I have so many, I don't even know where
I,
to
I,
start.
I laughed when I was trying to think of, some different ones. I thought, most people don't have that much knowledge of IRA conversion strategies, but
I just remember an IRA is an IOU to the IRS.
that's an excellent point of why you would want to do an IRA conversion, because you don't want to be sitting on that IOU. I'm Mark McKay.
And I'm Marcy McKay.
And welcome to Sage Smart Solutions. Please join us weekly to learn new and exciting ways to protect your assets and retire tax-free. Okay, so like you said, the reason you would want to do a conversion of an IRA,
because an IRA is an IOU.
It's because
to
all
the
that
IRS.
tax deferral has to be dealt with at some point.
Right.
And so, if the government came to you in your 20s and they said, listen, we want to loan you a bunch of money. We get to decide how you pay it back, when you pay it back, and what the interest rate is. How much do you want us to loan you?
Totally one-sided.
And you think, well, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to enter into a bargain with those terms and giving the other party that sort. That's exactly what you've done
Right.
with tax deferral. Wall Street has preached tax deferral for years because it works out for them.
Right.
If you're not sending that money to Washington, you're keeping it there and they can charge you a fee on it. That's why this is such an underserved. If you've ever been told you can't do a Roth IRA conversion, and that's not what we're going to talk. That's why I know this is different than what you've heard. We're going to talk about some IRA conversions that are not to a Roth IRA. So, but if you've ever been told that you make too much money to do a Roth IRA, give me a call. Now, we're not going to talk about a Roth IRA, so I'm not.
Right.
Now,
Just throwing it out there.
I do have Roth in our phone number. back in 2008 when we were coming up with the personalized phone number, that was what was available, and we were doing a lot of Roth conversions because the laws changed back then. But if you want to go old school and call us, it's 806-353-ROTH. That's 806-353-ROTH. My old school, my radio days. All right, so if we're not going to do it into a Roth conversion, and I think Roth conversions are great. So if this doesn't sound like it's up your alley, the conversion strategy we're about to talk about, still look at doing a Roth conversion. Let us run the numbers for you. Let your guy run the numbers on a Roth conversion. But the big downfall or the weakness of a Roth conversion is if you've got $1 million and you convert it to a Roth, you have to pay taxes on $1 million of income for that year.
Right.
Well, so fine. You say, okay, let's say it's for all the illustration purposes in this video, I'm going to use 25% as a tax bracket. And we're going to talk a little bit about how scary that is if you do all this planning and then the people that are in charge can take it from 25 to 35 or even just 25 to 29. You never know what that's going to do to your income stream. It could take 3 years off the life of your retirement. So if you do the Roth conversion and you take your $1 million 401k, you roll it over to an IRA, you convert it to a Roth, well, now you've got $750,000 there. So that's the downfall, is that it takes so long to catch up that you really have to look at the window of time that you're working with, whether it makes sense. So we have a strategy that allows you to take the money out of the IOU bucket,
Right.
the one that the IRS controls how much you pull out of it and how much you send to them. We can take that and shift it from a tax-deferred strategy to a tax-free strategy, but we can let the vehicle that is holding the tax-free strategy pay the taxes.
Ooh, nice.
so that you're not having to catch back up.
Right.
And I'm going to I started to put together all the spreadsheets and walk people through this, but it is a little complicated.
Right. Keep it simple.
I'm going to keep it broad strokes because if you're really serious about this, why not let's put together a strategy, spend a half an hour on a Zoom call with me and let me walk you through it. We'll give you a copy of it with real numbers and real solutions and strategies that we can help you implement. Let us do it for you. So why? Let's look at one more reason why people want to do this. So an IRA, it grows tax deferred, but when you pull the money out of it, because that's what we're all, the whole purpose of all of this planning and strategizing and saving and investing is so that we can have income later in life when we don't have a job, or or we make less money from our vocation. So we put all this money, we get the little tax deferral now and the tax deduction, and we get that on what we call the seed. But then when we harvest it, we have to pay taxes. So you've got to decide, do I want to pay taxes on where it is now? Do I want to pay taxes on the seed? Or do I get that little bit of immediate gratification from not paying taxes on the seed or deducting the price of the seed? But then, a quarter of it's, whatever I grow it to,
Right.
I'd rather pay 25% on a seed than 25% on an ear of corn.
So using another analogy, do you want to kick the can on down the road where you're going to have to pay more taxes? Is that right?
Yeah, that's not a really good analogy, because what do you get for kicking the can now?
Well, you pay. Well, yeah.
No,
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes, that's exactly what you're doing, is you're kicking the can down the road. And we all hate paying taxes. So that is Wall Street preying on your human instincts to delay that pain.
Right.
But we're going to show you that it makes a lot more sense to deal with it now. We can ease that pain and save you a lot of money in the long run. And there are a lot of benefits to doing this. So the other downside of an IRA, let's say you inherit, and these laws have changed recently, and not for the benefit of the taxpayer.
Even more so for Washington and Uncle Sam.
Some laws have changed
Yeah.
recently that have been, they realized the issues that we were dealing with inflation, and the retirement crisis, that this way of thinking, this tax deferral, putting it into the stock market in the 401k, has created a massive retirement crisis in this country. So where were we going with this? You've got this big bucket, but the laws have changed so that when you inherit that bucket, used to be there were some strategies you could really delay how much you had, you could extend the time you had to pay the taxes on it.
Right.
So it worked out a lot better. But if you've got a $2 million portfolio and you leave it to somebody and they just take it, they're going to be looking at getting $1.5 million. So you just gifted $500,000 to the IRS. But boy, you got that nice little boost of the tax deduction in 2008 or So so I'm going to get the chalkboard. I want to just throw some broad concepts at you, and I need to see the numbers written down so we can talk through it. But let's look at what this looks like. And this is from a case that we actually designed for a client 2 weeks ago. It's a 66-year-old who has a $2 million IRA, doesn't necessarily need to live off of it, but wants to reduce how much he pays in taxes, wants to reduce the volatility, wants to know what's going to be there for his legacy, his kids, his grandkids. So let's go grab the chalkboard. All right, so I may drift out of the screen here, but I wanted to. I just didn't have it in me to pull up the old spreadsheet and punch it. I'm a little burnt out on the computer right now, so I just want to give a broad picture, and I'm going to use real world numbers of what this looks like. But if this is something, if you've got, especially if you've got 7 figures in an IRA, let us put together a plan for you, show it to you. If you decide to call us back, you call us back. If not, we'll we've got other people who do want to reduce taxes. So, $2 million. 2 million. That's too many zeros. I should have all taxable. You haven't paid taxes on any of this, the contributions or the growth or any of it. So what can we do? Because if you just took it, you've got $1.5 million left. Do you want to give $500,000 to the IRS? We're going to use 25% as our tax bracket for this.
No, we don't.
We don't.
That is so much money.
Yeah. So what can we do? Rather than taking this and putting it into a Roth, and one way to reduce the tax burden is to spread it out. And when we do Roth conversions, a lot of times we'll do one distribution in December and one in January, and that way it spreads it over 2 calendar years, and so you're not getting the big bump up in tax brackets. But so we want to get this out of this $2 million IOU to the, I guess it's the 500,000 is the IOU.
Right.
So we want to get it out of here, but we don't want to start at 1.5 and have to build it back to 2 million. So what can we do? One thing that we've learned from the use of the infinite banking and cash value life insurance, and especially when we apply leverage and compounding, is that we can get our dollars to work for us in 2 different ways. So I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. If you'd like to see an illustration with your specific numbers, based on your age, the amount of money you have to work with, your time frame, very detailed, very customized for you. Let us do it for you. So, $2 million. We're going to take 5 years and put this into a tax-free bucket out of this IOU to the IRS. Get right into it. Let's say we are going to put $400,000 into our tax-free account. So you think, well, if you do that, you've just generated $100,000 in taxes. So for the first year, we just put $300,000 into our strategy, and then $100,000 we just go ahead and pay the taxes out of pocket. Perfectly clear. So you're thinking, okay, great, but you're not putting $400,000. We only have to do that once, because what's one of the beautiful things about investing, you can't do this if you buy term and invest the difference. But if you use a strategy like ours, it works beautifully. So the second year, you put your $400,000 in, but you get to put it all in. You think, well, don't you generate another $100,000 in taxes due at that year? Yes, but we can borrow against this. And when I say borrow against it, we're not reducing it. We're borrowing against it. We're borrowing from the general fund of the insurance company.
So we become our own banker.
We become our own banker. And what's beautiful about that is that we take this, so we take the $100,000, which we borrowed, so we didn't reduce this.
Right.
And so let's structure this, and let's say we just get 6% on it. And we'll use apples to apples, so the IRA would have gotten 6%, or our new strategy gets 6%. The beautiful thing is we paid our taxes, but the whole $400,000 plus the whole $300,000, so $700,000 is earning our 6%. It's working for us. It's generating growth. But the only part that we have to pay interest on is the $100,000 that we borrowed to pay our taxes. And so what do? We do this 2 more times. Is that right? We do this 3 more times. And at the end of it, you've borrowed $400,000 to pay your taxes, but you've got the full $2 million working for you, earning interest. So we're gonna capitalize on that spread between what we have to pay on the money that we borrow and the interest that we're earning, and that's how we pay our taxes. On this case, we did it. It was a friend of mine. He's 66 years old, $2 million in the IRA, and you would think, okay, that's too old to do a Roth conversion. I guarantee you, he got told that on the golf course a dozen times, and I showed him we in 10 years, if he wants, he can take out $200,000 per year. And I realize this is gibberish. $200,000 per year tax-free.
That is a beautiful example, all of this, of your money
Now-
working smarter, not harder.
He could do the same thing in his IRA,
Right.
but he would have to pull out 200 and I can't, my math's not quite that good. Like $250,000, a little bit more, $270,000 to get the same $200,000 after taxes. So if he were to just pull out $200,000 out of his IRA, he's really only getting $150,000 in his pocket because he sent it to the politicians. Is
Right.
that what you're working for? Is so you can send more money to the politicians?
Yeah.
But we were able to provide him with a tax-free income in about 10 years, I think when he turned 76, of $200,000 a year. Now, we did the same thing on the IRA side, which is where he is now. So if he just kind of kept it going and does what he's doing, he can get the same income, but he runs out of money in his late 80s. And with our strategy, he pays about $500,000 in taxes. If he doesn't do anything, if he keeps his money in his IRA, he's going to pay $1 million in taxes. So we cut his tax bill in half, which sounds good, but we cut his tax bill in half while if he goes with our strategy and starts taking the $200,000 and increases that a little bit each year, we can actually do that up through age 100. But if we do it to age 100, he will get $5.4 million in tax-free income. Now, if he kept it in the IRA, he could get about $2.6 million after taxes. So we cut his tax bill in half.
And increase his income.
We doubled his income.
Yeah.
We doubled his income. And we left a $2 million legacy to his heirs. So he starts with $2 million. His kids get $2 million. He got $5.6 million so he could take those kids on vacation as much as he wants, with an extra $200,000 a year. So let us put together a strategy like this for you. I realize not everybody has a $2 million IRA. This does make more sense for people in a high tax bracket. So if you're a high net worth individual especially if you've got more than $500,000 in an IRA, reach out to us. Let us put together a strategy for you. Like I said, I will meet with you for 15 minutes on the phone, gather some information, put together a plan. We are independent, so I will shop it by 6 or 7 different planning services that are the best. But I am not committed to anybody, so I will pick the best of the best for you. Let me do it for you. So please watch our masterclass below if you'd like to learn more ways to protect your assets and retire tax-free. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel and join us weekly so you can learn new and exciting strategies to protect your assets and retire tax-free. Have a great week.